History is filled with bizarre and unexpected events that often defy logic. Did you know that in 1932, Australia waged a war against emus and lost? Or that in 1518, a dancing plague took over a town, causing people to dance uncontrollably for days? In this video, we'll explore these and other strange historical events, mixing education with humor to make history both fun and fascinating. The Big War. Against the Emu, Australia was in a very strange position in 1932. More than 20,000 emus were destroying farmlands in Western Australia, putting crops and people's ability to make a living at risk. The government's answer was nothing short of amazing. They went to war with these big birds that can't fly. Soldiers with machine guns were sent to deal with the emu threat. What happened next is funny and makes for great stories. Even though they tried hard, the emus were surprisingly quick and tough. The birds moved and regrouped faster than the troops could aim and fire, which made for a lot of funny and frustrating situations. It's impossible to say enough about how silly the Great Emu War was. Picture well-trained fighters with heavy weapons who are constantly being beaten by birds. The effort went badly from the start because the emus outsmarted and outlasted the humans. In the end, the troops had to pull back, giving up and giving the emus the victory. A funny side note to this strange event is that farmers had to find other ways to protect their crops after the military operation failed. Meanwhile, the emus kept roaming freely, becoming a lasting reminder of how powerful nature can be when you least expect it. In military history, this event is still remembered as one of the strangest and funniest. The War of the Lost Dog. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this movie before we start. In 1925, something so crazy happened that it became known as the War of the Stray Dog. A dog seemed like an odd thing to start a fight between Greece and Bulgaria. The story starts when the dog of a Greek soldier wandered into Bulgaria. As the soldier ran after his pet, he crossed the border by accident. As a result of the chaos, Bulgarian border guards shot the Greek soldier, which caused a diplomatic problem. Greece was so angry about what happened that they demanded an apology. When Bulgaria said no, Greek troops invaded, fighting for several days and taking over a few Bulgarian villages. Things got worse very quickly, and both countries were on the verge of going to war. There was an international dispute over a stray dog, which makes the whole thing even stranger. In the end, the League of Nations stepped in and ordered a ceasefire. They also told Greece to leave the war and pay damages. Today, the news might say things like, "Puppy causes border conflict," or "International tensions rise over stray dog." There is some fun in a situation that would otherwise be serious because of how silly it is. People should read The War of the Stray Dog to remember how small problems can get out of hand and have big effects. It also shows how important conversation and diplomacy are for solving problems, no matter how small they may seem at first. The 1518 Dancing Plague. The plague known as the Dancing Plague hit the town of Strasbourg in the summer of 1518. At that time, Strasbourg was part of the Holy Roman Empire. The trouble started when a woman named Frau Trophea couldn't stop dancing in the street. Within days, dozens of people from the town joined her and started dancing non-stop for no reason. The outbreak spread quickly, and soon hundreds of people were dancing too fast to stop. They danced for days on end, even when they were tired, hurt, or even dead. The doctors in town didn't know what to do. They thought that getting people to dance more would help everyone feel better, but this made things worse. Several ideas have been put forward to explain this strange event. Some experts think it was caused by ergot poisoning, which is a mold that grows on wet rye and makes people pass out. Some people believe it was a case of mass hysteria caused by the extreme stress and suffering of the time. Think about what would happen if this happened now. There would be a lot of movies, memes, and guesses going around on social media. Hashtags like #DancingPlague would be popular, and the event would quickly spread around the world. This strange event not only shows how unpredictable people can be, but it also gives us a fascinating look into the strange and mysterious events that have shaped our past. The Dancing Plague of 1518 is still one of the most interesting and fun events in the Big Flood of Molasses, Boston was hit by one of the strangest tragedies in history in January 1919, the Great Molasses Flood. On a cold winter day, a huge storage tank holding more than 2.3 million gallons of sugar burst, flooding the streets of the North End with the thick, sticky stuff. The flood came through the neighborhood at about 35 miles per hour, with waves up to 25 feet high. It destroyed buildings, flipped cars over, and trapped people and animals in its path. The Molasses flood did a lot of damage and sadly killed 21 people and hurt about 150 others. People find this event strange not only because of the material involved, but also because of how big and fast the molasses wave was. It took weeks of hard work to get the sticky stuff off of the streets, houses, and even the harbor. For many years, the place smelled like molasses. People in the area said they could still smell molasses on hot summer days for years after the flood, which is a strange fact about the fallout. Strange and terrible things happen all the time at work, and this event is a unique warning of the unexpected dangers that can come up. The Great Molasses Flood is still one of the strangest and most famous disasters in U.S. history. It shows how ordinary substances can turn into disasters when the conditions are right or wrong. The Tanganyika laughter epidemic. In 1962, a small village in Tanganyika, now Tanzania, experienced one of the most bizarre outbreaks in history, the Tanganyika laughter epidemic. Imagine an uncontrollable laughter so infectious that it spreads through entire communities. Sounds absurd, right? But that's exactly what happened. It all began at a mission-run boarding school for girls in the village of Kashasha. 3 students started laughing uncontrollably, and within hours, nearly 100 others were caught in the laughter epidemic. The school was forced to close, but the laughter didn't stop there. It spread to nearby villages, affecting over 1,000 people in total. The epidemic was marked by fits of laughter lasting anywhere from a few hours to several days, accompanied by fainting, respiratory problems, and even pain. Schools and workplaces were disrupted, and entire communities were thrown into chaos by this seemingly harmless yet disruptive phenomenon. The bizarre nature of the laughter epidemic led to various theories about its cause. Some experts believe it was a case of mass hysteria, triggered by stress and anxiety in a rigid, oppressive environment. Others suggest it was a social phenomenon reflecting deeper cultural and societal issues. We'd love to hear from you. Share your favorite bizarre historical events in the comments below. Have you come across any strange or lesser-known stories from history? Let us know. Let's recap the bizarre historical events we've explored today: the Great Molasses Flood, the War of the Stray Dog, and the Tanganyika laughter epidemic. Each of these events shows that history can be both educational and incredibly strange, proving that truth is often stranger than fiction. If you enjoyed this blend of humor and education, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Your support helps us bring more fascinating stories to light. We've got even more intriguing tales coming up, so stay tuned. What strange historical events would you like us to cover next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Until then, keep exploring and stay curious.